Hi, it's Pebbles here. This is just a little bit of a video to just recap on some of the other channeling videos that I've done, and just to just explain like a few little things about how connecting with spirits work and how it can benefit for yourself. So on some of my other videos where I've channeled people, obviously people who were in the entertainment industry, what it is when when they come through, they are coming through to give us advice on there's a pattern theme that they're coming through to just give us advice on how we can navigate in the world today with the challenges, with the struggles. A lot of people are living in fear, and just there's a lot of negativity around, so people are just kind of feeling down, quite hopeless at the moment. So this is just a video to let you know that just as you maybe would tap into your family, which you can do. You can ask your family, your loved ones on the other side to come in, because they're always watching, they're always looking over to what it is that we're doing here, looking out for us. So maybe times when you've come across some challenges and maybe you feel uplifted, or times you've come through some challenges and then something has gone right or better for you, or something has worked out that you perhaps didn't expect to. That could be anyone from spirit. It can be your angels, it can be your guides, because they are there to look out for you. It could be your loved ones on the other side, but also it can be someone that you've never even connected to in this life. Somebody that you didn't even know, i.e. somebody who was in the public eye, who could perhaps just be coming through to help you because perhaps they can relate with something that you're going through that they went through. Say if somebody went through like a challenging relationship when they were here, and that was one of the main big things that that they were in the public eye for, or at least was publicised quite a lot, and there was a lot of struggles. They would perhaps maybe come through to somebody who was dealing with things like that, and just to help with that, because they can relate to that as somebody would, who you would maybe get talking to in life, and you'd have that in common, and you'd kind of speak and maybe support each other. That can still go on with those from spirit realm to here. So you can always connect with people like that. A lot of people that are coming through have actually said that we're there to help, we're here to step in. So don't just think because maybe perhaps you don't channel or you don't hear things clairaudibly that you can't get that help. We can all connect to spirit. We just may receive it in little different ways. So as I say, if you don't feel that you're a medium, or you don't speak to your spirit guides or your angels, you don't hear them, then that's okay. You can still ask, for the help. And one thing the angels have told me is that even if perhaps that you don't believe, or you're new to the concept of them helping you, and you perhaps ask and say angels, can you please help me, can you guide me with something, can you just maybe show me that you are there and you do exist and you are able to help, they won't look and go, well, you don't believe in us, then forget it. They're not judgmental like that. They're not going to suddenly turn you down because you don't believe them, because they're not going to be offended with those kind of things. They're actually going to be quite happy that you've asked them to come in, because when you ask, you kind of opening that doorway for them to come in to give you the assistance. So, and a lot of them are standing by actually not being used because of people's lack of faith, of belief in them. So I know that they work. I know that I've had a lot of help, and from my spirit guides and angels. I talk to them, I ask them to assist in lots of things. I can give you a couple of examples. Yeah, you can definitely ask them to come in. So you will get the sign some different ways. You may see something. Like it could be anything written on a car registration. You may just see something on the front of a newspaper, get the answers that way that you acquire. You may get speaking to someone, and suddenly they're speaking of the subject that you may be perhaps needed an answer to, and you'd be like, isn't that strange? Or I was struggling with that, and somebody just comes along and has the solution for something. The spirit realm are always working, and they have such beautiful ways of bringing the signs in. They have like a maze and things. I also got told as well by spirit that, let's just say you have a loved one that's passed on, and they somebody in your life purchases something for you, and maybe you look at that and it's totally something that perhaps you haven't known somebody that long, but they've got the perfect gift for you, you know, the perfect taste, your perfect taste, and you might wonder how, you know, that's just something that I love. You know, I wouldn't have thought they've known that. Sometimes our loved ones in spirit can see that you're going to get a gift, and perhaps something that they would have bought for you, because obviously they can't go out now and physically purchase something for you, you know, in this realm. They will perhaps guide that person to be drawn to something to get to you that they know that you like, so that gift can kind of come through them in a way, and that's one of the little signs that they can send you. Another thing as well from spirit as well, that we often assume when we're asking for signs from our loved ones that we're going to get signs that perhaps we would relate to them, and signs that we would expect. Now, I know a lot of people kind of know the signs, you know, if you ever had like a past loved one and perhaps around the birthday or the anniversary that they will play songs that they loved, those songs just come up, those songs just play. That's quite an obvious one. But so a lot of people do recognise they get that, but sometimes we need just a little bit more of a sign from loved ones' spirit at different times, and you kind of feel that you're not getting them. I've had that too, and just signs you're not recognising, and you feel like, oh, you know, are they there? Are they okay? Are they hearing me? Sometimes the sign can be something as simple as a bird coming around. Perhaps maybe you're out and about and there's a bird, you know, tweeting on the roof. It's there for a long time, or a bird that comes a little bit closer to you than a bird normally would. It's quite comfortable, and you know, it's not as frightened usually as birds would be. So signs like that can be signs from the spirit world. You know, animals, even little things like flies or a spider as well. They can sometimes do that to draw your attention to something, which could be a sign from your loved ones in spirit. But as I say, you know, it's not actually, you know, loved ones can come through in spirit. But again, people who are, you know, well known, they can also come through and assist you with something, as say, if it can relate to something or not, you know, at all. It doesn't always have to relate, but they can be there, especially at this time now with all what's going on. They are there to assist. The spirit world look on, the spirit world watch, and the spirit world sees what goes on. They can even hear your thoughts. They can see you, you know, do things when you're out and about. They definitely know where you've been and what's going on in your life. They can see all of that. They see pretty much everything. In fact, they do see everything. They can basically have their life over there and do things, but simultaneously, whatever the word is, can do what they're doing over there, but also like looking as well. So they do see a lot. You'd be very surprised at what they do see, what they know, even if you're thinking it. They can actually read your thoughts, but don't worry. You know, it's not like they're like kind of like looking in on everything, but if you're connecting with them and stuff like that, yeah, they can sort of read your thoughts. Like when I channel, I'll perhaps maybe, you know, think something, or, you know, maybe something to ask them, and maybe they'll come in and they'll tell me the answer to that question that I was thinking without them even asking. So yeah, they can definitely read your thoughts. Some people have come into me before as well and picked up on my little apprehensiveness when I'm a bit like, oh, I'm, you know, a bit nervous of this person. So they can definitely do that. It's great though. I know a lot of people would be kind of uncomfortable with that, but for me, it's like, I think that is an amazing thing where, you know, they could just pick up on what you're thinking and then just come in and sort of, you know, relay information that perhaps you're wondering, or play a song that perhaps you'd just be listening to. Or sometimes what's happened is I've looked people up and I've gone, okay, I've noticed them in something, and then they'll show themselves wearing that outfit that, you know, I've noticed. But so I think that's a really good thing. But yeah, your loved ones, they can definitely see you going to the toilet, but they're not interested in looking at you going to the toilet, so don't worry about that. But yeah, I have had people, like, you know, when they're coming through, or family have come through and perhaps I've just gone to the toilet, they've come with me, but they've turned around, they're not interested in looking at that, so you don't need to worry about that. But when I have spoke to the people that I'm channeling, I know a couple of times when they're here and I've had to go to the bathroom, I've noticed that they do step back and they're waiting in the room where I've channeled them, and then I go and I can look in on them and I can see that they're just sitting there waiting for me, just, you know, not speaking, they're just sitting there waiting, as you know, if you were, say, like looking someone, you peek through the door and they were waiting for you and they wouldn't be speaking to you. So they do that. So they're very polite. They're very considerate. I'm just giving an example. Yeah, they just consider it. Say when I'm channeling, you know, they usually sit there. So while I'm explaining things on camera, they'll sit and they'll wait until I've finished. But when I say to them, you know, interrupt me, interject, then they'll do that. But they'll usually wait for me to say that. So yeah, they're really polite and they understand that I'm explaining things through a video. And I kind of like them to interject or distract me. My cat's suddenly having a wild moment. To distract me, because I feel that then you can be a little bit more part of that. Because if I'm just sitting here and relaying everything that they're saying, and I'm just looking at the camera, it kind of feels like I'm just sort of going off. But if you can see me interacting with the person and speaking to them and saying, oh yeah, or as I'm speaking, they sometimes interrupt, I kind of feel that, you know, it makes me feel that you're just a little bit more involved then in seeing it and seeing the interaction then, and because I kind of want you to feel that they're there and get as much as possible as I am with the connection with them. I know you can't hear them. It'd be great if you could, but yeah, I know you can't hear them, but yeah, I'd kind of like to try as best I can to give you the whole feel of it, and that's why I kind of relay things in the way they're saying it, so you can sort of just see a lot more of it, be a little bit more part of it as well, rather than just, you know, listening to me. But so yeah, they're very considerate in those ways. And yeah, another thing is that, yeah, you know, the spirit realm, people probably have this idea, and I did too as well, that, you know, what do they do all day? You know, are they just standing around? Are they just, you know, hanging around? Do they float around? And no, they don't. Now, I know a lot of people might be skeptical to hear this, and, you know, I'm discovering a lot more, and yeah, I wasn't aware that, you know, how much they could do, yeah, in the spirit realm, but it's pretty much a life like this one. So what they do over here, the people that you know, I've channeled, let's say, use them as an example, that yeah, if they're performers and, you know, they've sang or they play instruments, especially the ones that play instruments, they still seem to be quite attached to the instrument and love the instrument. But yeah, you know, with Phil Lynott, he brought his guitar with him. Taylor Hawkins, he brought his drum kit with him. So yeah, things that they loved doing on the earth plane, they can still do over there. And I'm talking about not just playing instruments, I'm talking about doing activities like surfing, swimming. I've had people tell me that they've gone ice skating, they've gone to the fair. They don't need any money. They're still enjoying the things they did here. It's just, it's a beautiful life. It's just a different life. And yeah, there's an adjustment. And then, you know, when they go to the spirit world, as I've explained before, depending on how the person passes, if there's unanswered questions, that can be a little bit of something that, yeah, they have to, you know, maybe have healing for, or they find a little bit difficult to come to terms with. But even though there is those challenges and all that, they get a lot of help. So that, unlike us, who would have to carry the burden, more of a heavy burden, and a physical body, and, you know, we may perhaps get counselling, but that would take like a long time, and it wouldn't necessarily give us the healing, you know, that we need. We would still have, like, you know, trust issues, you know, difficulties, yeah, in trusting people, but also, you know, maybe we might become reclusive, maybe we might turn to addictions, so things like that. But for them on the other side, they're going to get like a lot of help. They're going to get help from beautiful, loving light beings who are going to give them unconditional love. A lot of healing that's, you know, nothing like on this earth. I know we can have like beautiful kind of like, you know, practices, or, you know, we've got like Reiki, and we've got like acupuncture, and we've got things like that. But of course, in the spirit realm, those kinds of healing is going to be on like a completely different level. I don't know every way that they do it, but, you know, obviously there's like hands-on way, you know, just, you know, a really good loving presence of healing. And of course, there's no judgment. There's not gonna be anyone who's gonna judge you or make you feel small for having, you know, the issues, or for having to come to terms with something. So the presence is just going to be really loving and kind. And also, yeah, in spirit as well, the people don't just suddenly become like different. You know, if somebody's like quite an extrovert and quite jokey, most likely to be like that in spirit as well. They won't always necessarily come through like that straight away. There may be sometimes they'll come through and a little bit quieter. It just depends. It depends on the connection. It also depends on how the person connecting to them gets the messages from them as well. But for me, I'm finding that, yeah, that, you know, if someone comes through and they had a really great sense of humour, they're going to have a great sense of humour. If somebody spoke a certain way, they're going to speak that way. Sometimes they will come across a little bit different, or of course, you know, I didn't know any of these people in the live, so sometimes they come through a little bit more different than I'd expect, but of course I didn't know them anyway, so. But you can really feel the presence of them, and you can also feel the personality. But yeah, just because they're in spirit, it doesn't mean that they don't have opinions. It doesn't mean that they don't feel a little bit of frustration. It doesn't mean, because they are, don't forget now, they're looking down on things, and of course, just like we do, they have loved ones here on the earth plane that may perhaps worried about, concerned about, don't really want to see them going through challenges right now. So if they've got something to say about it, then they've got something to say about it. And yeah, it may come with a little bit of like, you know, I'm ticked off because of that. But of course, they won't sort of carry it like, you know, we do, and it's going to like totally ruin the day. The next second they could be okay and go, right, okay, I'll let that go. So they are able as a soul in spirit to, you know, let that go, but they will still express things, you know, as you've probably seen, that, yeah, you know, I'm not happy about that, or that shouldn't be going on. You know, I'm not having that. But equally as well, you know, they've told me that, you know, life is great on there. The ones I've spoke to, I'm not saying for everybody, but, you know, the ones that I spoke to, that, you know, but there is a couple who are not happy with certain things that's going on, and I mean, family-wise, but, you know, so there can be people who just, yeah, there's, you know, there's things are frustrated, but again, still, there's still, you know, having a nice time. It's also a peaceful space in the spirit realm. It's not like somebody's going to become along and picking a fight with you, or you're going to have, you know, struggles with things that, you know, you can have down here on earth with, you know, of course, you know, they don't have the wars, they don't have the negative energy, and you know, a lot of the things that you know, challenges that we have to deal with in this world. It's the souls in spirit as well. They can obviously hang around with friends or people that they can relate to, but just like us, like you would choose to spend time with certain people you perhaps resonate with, or you get on with, or you like the company, even if you didn't know them in life or spend time with them in life. That's what they do in the spirit realm. Don't think just because they go to spirit that it's suddenly like, oh, I love that person now that I didn't really get on with life. They can do. It doesn't mean if someone didn't get on with each other in this life that they're not going to get on in the spirit realm. They may very well spend time together and get on. But there is some people as well that I've come across that, yeah, they didn't particularly like someone in this life. They still don't particularly like them there, so they just don't spend time with them. There's not going to argue. There's not going to be any fights breaking out between them. They still haven't really got an opinion with them either way, or they have got an opinion, and the opinion's just like, I'm not too keen on them. That happens too. So yeah, a lot of people kind of think like, you know, just because the spirit, everybody's, you know, happy and friendly, and everyone loves each other, and they do. The love from the spirit world is immense. They don't have to tell each other, as far as I know. I mean, they may do, but, you know, what I've come to understand is, or what I've been told is, you know, you don't really have to say, oh, I love you, because they exude it. So it's just kind of like a known thing that we wouldn't necessarily have here. They have it there. But yeah, they'll still spend time with people in that. But yeah, again, you know, if they're perhaps fond of a particular person, they just won't really be in the same space as them. But yeah, everything's still going to be peaceful, and nobody's going to be having like, you know, big mad angry rants at people. If somebody is a little bit worked up or angry about something, again, the light beings, to my understanding, what I've been told and shown, is that the light beings will come around and, you know, diffuse the situation and not kind of like be ruffled by that situation, but they're able to calm people down and just come around them, and yeah, and just, you know, be nice and kind of like, you know, calm that situation down. So yeah, but our loved ones, and of course some people can be a little bit skeptical when you're saying, oh, you know, you're talking to people who are well known, but if life doesn't stop for our loved ones, life doesn't stop for the celebrities, because they're people just like us. But yeah, they just happen to be well known, and also they have family too. So our loved ones in spirit, the well-known people as well, they also have family. So, you know, say life isn't going to just stop for them. So of course they're still going to be able to come through and connect with us as well. And if they see somebody who, you know, is an open channel for them, they need to come through to relay any messages, whether it to be just the family or, you know, it's coming through to help the public with what it is they've got to say, then, you know, that's what they'll do. So that's just a little bit to explain about some of the things, you know, that I've been discovering. I'm still learning about it all as I go, and I hope to relay more videos to you so you too can learn about it. But I just want to explain that, you know, the power of asking for help from spirit with these challenging times right now, we could all do with assistance from the spirit world, and it's there and it's waiting, and a lot of them are ready, you know, to assist, would love to assist. And if you're not taking advantage of that, then you really are missing out on beautiful, loving support, guidance, opportunity. Because why not? Even if you don't really think, you know much, or, you know, can it really work for me? What have you got to lose by giving it a go? So ask your loved ones, you know, ask God, ask angels, guides, whoever you know, however you are comfortable with it, or you want to address it. But our angels and guides, you know, are always around, you know, to help us and to assist us. And our guides, whether you realise it or not, you know, are always with us, and they have to kind of like, you know, it's like, you know, shuffling cards, and then they sort of like, you know, get a little bit out, or one maybe flies out, and you're trying to, you know, shuffle them back and you keep them in line. Our guides are there to sort of keep us guided on our life path, because we can have decisions, from my understanding anyway, and I feel like my life has really been, you know, quite destined. And I always say, like, you know, well, free will, I know I'm supposed to have free will, but I feel like I've had a wiggle room, because a lot of things in my life, it's not going to be the way for everybody, but for my life, I felt there's been very destined, and things have been sort of meant to happen, and certain things I know that, or certain people I've been drawn to, or certain things have happened in my life, I'm like, no, I wouldn't necessarily have gone to do that, but I kind of feel like I've been, not coerced as such, but it's like the divine has sprinkled us to maybe put a spell on me to be like, okay, I want you to do that, but I know that these things are being meant to transpire. So yeah, we've got to keep on like a certain life path as well, and a lot of the times they'll help us to keep on the right track. So let me just think of an example. Okay, I'll give you an example of how our angels and guides can assist us now. One time I was in my car, yeah, I was up late at night and I was low on petrol. So I was like, oh gosh, you know, I need to get to a petrol station. So I said, okay, angels, guides, can you help me, you know, get to the petrol station? Please don't let the car break down, because it was on the last, and I wasn't sure if I'd have enough to get to where it needed to be. So please don't, you know, let the car break down. So they're like, no, it's okay, it's fine, relax. So I had the heat on in the car, and I had the radio on in the car, and they just basically said to me, okay, turn, because obviously they take up petrol too, so they were just like, you know, turn the radio off, and, you know, turn the heat off, so just try not to use, you know, as much until you get there. And I said, oh no, I need the music on, because I was starting to feel a little bit anxious, like, you know, the car's gonna, you know, just stop. But they were like, okay, you'll be fine, leave the music on. And now I hear them clear audiently. So yeah, they said I could leave the music on, and I had in mind a certain petrol station to go to, but there was one near and I'd forgotten, but they were like, no, don't go that one, go this one. I was like, oh, I'd forgotten that one was nearer. So they directed me to the, you know, the petrol station that I needed to go to, and I got there on time. Obviously, you know, it didn't break down or anything like that. So yeah, they definitely guided me to do that. So it's just little things like that. I'll tell you another little story as well. There was one time when I was driving, this was late at night as well, and there was a car that was like driving like quite close behind me. It was a normal car, it was kind of like a little sports car, and yeah, totally sort of right up behind me. So I went to kind of speed up just to, you know, get out of the way, because I just thought, oh, it's somebody, you know, on the road trying to sort of push me off the road. I just thought it was like, well, it was a guy, I could see it was a guy, so I just thought it was just some guy who's trying to hurry me up and, you know, make me speed on the road, but I'll just speed up a little bit. Anyway, my guy said, no, don't speed up the car. So I was like, okay. So they were like, I was doing 30 mile an hour, and they were like, yeah, because the road, well, one of the roads was 30 mile an hour, one of the road was then 40 mile an hour. And they said to me, okay, no, don't speed up, do the 30 mile an hour. So I kept the 30 mile an hour. I got towards the 40 mile an hour road, started doing that. I went to speed up again. They were like, no, don't speed up. Keep your foot on the gas, stay, you know, on the exact limit. So on the way to the store, I stuck to the limit, and I kept saying, you know, and they were saying to me repeatedly, you know, no, stay on that, stay on that, don't go any higher than the 40 miles an hour. So I stayed. They kept saying to me, you know, stay on that as you get there. And when I pulled up at the car park of the store, the guy who was behind me all of the way, he drove past me, and he drove into the opposite sort of like bay of the car park. And when he got out, he was actually a fully clothed police officer in a plain car, which is not something I'd ever seen before that night. So there you go. So then I was like, okay. So I understood now when they were like, no, make sure you do the limit, stay on the right limit. So look at that, you know, that's pretty good guidance. So, and that's just something simple, but of course, you know, they can help you with, you know, lots of other things. I even thought, you know, how they helped me with the car was like really good. So that's just a few little tips, just a little bit of information about spinner wheels, just a few little tips that you can do to get them to help you. There'll be lots of ways also as well. Yeah, it's not just about seeing the signs, it's feeling the signs. So you may just feel yourself that you'll just get that, you know, we've all got intuition as well. Sharpen that if you can. Really make sure that, you know, you keep that really sharp. You can sharpen your intuition by, you know, lots of ways. Meditation is a really good way to quiet your mind, and so you're able to tap into and hear your intuition even more. A lot of people get a little bit put off when they hear the word meditation. When they hear the word meditation, they assume that they've got to sit for like hours on end and empty their mind and not have any thoughts come in. And, you know, I think some people are quite daunted by that idea. I certainly used to hear about meditation. I never thought that I would be the type of person to do meditation, because yeah, I for one thought that it, you know, was something that, you know, monks did and they sat for like hours on end, and I just never thought it was something I would ever do. I've been doing it, I think, around 8 years now. Trying to set up a little bit more, but pretty much for those 8 years I've done like 15 minutes a day, which is not very long. The changes that I had from that was just amazing. But that's one way. I'll go into more of that in a future video, but yeah, that's one way how you can sharpen your intuition. You can also practice little things, like perhaps maybe get somebody to hide something, and then you can try and focus and ask them, you know, not ask them, you can try and focus, not look when they're hiding it. And then I used to play this game actually when my sons were little, and they'd be able to find where it was. But yeah, maybe ask somebody to hide something in the vicinity of where you are, and then without looking, of course, and then yeah, open your eyes and then try and find it where they've hidden it. Just see what comes to mind. You can also do it as well by getting somebody to maybe hold up something like, you know, different little pictures, cards with things on, maybe showing you them, and then holding a couple up and then seeing which one, you know, seeing which one that, you know, they'd had. Or even just for yourself, you can maybe put like 2 little cards up or something like that, or write things on a piece of paper, fold it up and then shake them up, and then just see if you know which ones, you know, what you've written on what paper, and to see which one that you've picked. Just little things like that to, you know, enhance your intuition. So yeah, so when you're asking for the guidance from your angels and guides, just little things like that, intuitive nudges you may get as signs if you're not, you know, necessarily hearing things. But again, you know, crown chakra, third eye chakra exercises and things like that, you can start to open up and to, you know, maybe hear things. You know, it can happen differently for everybody, but you know, it's clairaudience where you hear, there's clairvoyance as well, where I think it's that, you know things or see things or something like that. So there's a lot of like the clear things, I can't remember them all right now, but yeah, intuitive nudges. So you may be out and about and you may just get that feeling like, oh, you know, I think I should maybe go to that store today rather than that one, or maybe you're gonna go somewhere and you get that feeling that don't go that one, maybe do a detour and do a different one. I've had that a lot of times. I may just think, oh, I'll drive this route, and then someone says to me, no, don't go that route today, you need to go that route, or maybe go to that different petrol station than that one, the one I was going to go to. So I've had lots of things like that years ago as well, and that was before I could hear these angels and spirit guides. So just, and I still get that now, even if they don't necessarily speak the words to me. So yeah, just little things like that, you know, if you ask, you will perhaps get the guidance that way. Just you get that overall feeling of, this is what I should do today, I shouldn't go there today. And another little tip as well, if you're at home and you're due to go out somewhere and suddenly you can't find your keys, that's happened to me like lots of times, where I always put them in the same place. I know I'm not going to lose them and I know they're not lost, but sometimes I'll go to get something if I'm about to go out and it's gone, it's disappeared, and something's holding me back. When that happens, so yeah, I don't frantically look and start being like, oh my gosh, I need to go. I just go, okay, hold on. And I just maybe have a little look again, but I know to keep calm, because I think, okay, I'm not meant to go at that point. There's been lots of times when I've done that and I'm just like, I know something's holding me back today, I'm not going to go. And sometimes that can be for your safety, for the good of you. Another thing as well, like when you're driving on the road, for example, and a car cuts in front of you, and then perhaps, you know, you're really wanting to hurry up and you're like, I'm in a hurry. And then you may overtake a car, and then again another car will jump in front and it's like, oh my gosh, and everybody seems to be holding you up. For me, I would say, and I normally do that, I go, okay, you know what, I'm not meant to be up the road any further today. And again, that could be, you know, somebody, you get angels and guides protecting you, and so you don't need to be any further up the road, you know, in case it's an accident or anything like that. You know, they're there to often protect you from things like that if that's not meant to happen. So yeah, just little things like that. But yeah, the intuitive nudges, watch out for things like that. Signs, let's just say as well, like another sign could be that you know, you want to hear from a friend, or you're expecting to hear from a friend, and you may go out and about and you may see somebody that really looks like that person, and then you look and they're getting into the car and perhaps they've got the same car, you know, things like that. Just any little signs like that, you know, that you can give. So it's just getting into that practice of being open for the signs, listening for the signs, believing, having trust, having faith, not being too anxious about it and just going, okay, I'm just going to see what comes, I'm going to let it, and just try and have a little bit more of a laid back attitude. But when our angels and guides are coming in to give us the guidance, I would say take on board the way the sentence meet me halfway, because we have got to do a little bit of the work of meeting them halfway, not just by asking. Asking is a really good thing. Don't feel that, you know, you're bothering them or mithering them when you're asking them, because they're happy for you to ask. They're really happy and waiting, you know, to assist. Sometimes they can tend to step back and not just interfere in your life if you haven't requested the help, because sometimes, you know, unless they really need to jump in, but if you really want them to actively be involved in your life and help you, then they're in your life and give you the assistance, and you want to see help that is actually quite noticeable, where you go, I know my angels helped me today, thank you, angels, and yeah, remember to, you know, give a lot of gratitude to them. But yeah, if you really want to see things where you can go, wow, then ask for the assistance, be open, but again, try and do a little bit of work on yourself as well, as I say, like, you know, meditation, or try and keep your vibe high, where be positive, give out good energy, start chatting to people in shops, giving gratitude, maybe writing out a gratitude list, all of those things go to help. Yeah, maybe when, you know, you're out and about, just remember to be courteous to people, be nice to people. Maybe when you're getting served in a store, instead of just, you know, exchanging money to the people and then just leaving without any eye contact, maybe give them some eye contact and say, oh, you know, have a nice day. Thank you very much for that. You know, make them feel appreciated. And the more you do that as well, the more that you'll find people, you know, sometimes when we're out and about on our days, some people can maybe, like, you know, be in a bad mood, or someone might be rude, and we'll get like a lot of that. But when you start giving out good energy and being nice, you know, to people around you, you make the first move in doing that, you will find that you start to get that back then, and you'll notice the differences when you're out and about, that you're like, well, you know what, everyone's really nice today, being a really pleasant experience today. So just things like that, if you start doing little things like that for yourself and just keeping your vibe high, keeping a positive mindset, giving out good energy, that really sort of opens the door a lot more, like a large doorway for the angels to step in and give you that assistance. So yeah, just some tips for that. Just a little bit more of what I've come to understand about our loved ones in spirit, and what it is that they can do for us, and what it is they do over there. I'll be bringing more videos with information like that. So happy guidance and support and love from your angels and guides. Get your intuition working, because, you know, we could all do with that. It really is amazing when you feel like you know, you're guided and you're supported and you've got your intuition working for you. It can really help you navigate your way around, but it could also help you avoid situations and challenges, and, you know, let's be honest, certain people who may be going to come into your life that's not really going to have good intentions for you, things like that. So we can manage those kind of things, and we can really sort of, like, yeah, make life easier for ourselves and for others, because when we're happy and we're upbeat and, you know, we're not going through challenges, we can also be there for others as well. So yeah, let's remember to, you know, be really loving and thoughtful of others. But of course, you know, there is people that we maybe have to not be around, or, you know, keep away from. So for, you know, for a number of reasons. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you like the tips. Let me know in the comments your experiences, you know, of getting guidance and support, you know, whether you have it, you're doing it or now or not, and if you're going to try it, how it works for you. Let me know. Yeah, and I'll be back with more videos with more information as I go, and some more tips to help you have a positive day, help things be a little bit easier for you, and yeah, just tapping into a more Disney kind of day, a Disney day, yeah, where you look around, even if you're, like, yeah, doing housework and scrubbing the floor, that you're looking around and the birds are singing and you feel like you're chatting to all the little creatures and the animals. Those kind of days, because those days are possible. Those days are really possible that you can have that when you start tapping into that. When, instead of just going out and focusing on the mundane things, like, oh, I'm on my way to work, oh, I've got to wait for this bus, oh, I hate that, oh, I'm in this queue, oh, I'm stuck in traffic. When you start to step out your front door and you start to think, no, I'm going to forget about that. I'm not going to complain about those things today. I'm only going to focus on the good things. And you notice that bird that's above you, and you look at it and you really take it in, and you listen for the first time to that beautiful song. Or you look up in the clouds and you thank that you've got the sight to see those beautiful clouds today. Or you have the opportunity to be out and about anyway, even if you're stuck in traffic, or even if it's not a particularly pleasant day in your mind. It may be raining, it's a little bit cold, but you're up and about and you're healthy and well. So when you start thanking for those things and tapping into the little everyday things that are really special, important, but sometimes go unnoticed because we're too busy focused on other things in the physical, and, you know, just the normal day-to-day things that we've got to do and where we've got to go. But when you start tapping into that, that's when you can have, like, a really nice Disney day. Okay, so yeah, as I say, let me know in the comments how you get on. Please remember to like, subscribe, share the video out to anyone that you think will help, but also, and if you enjoy channeling videos, check out my other videos of the channeling. The beautiful souls that have come through, I've got, like, really some good things to say. So, and things, you know, to let us know about what it is we need to be aware of today in the challenge, just stuff like that. So, yeah. Hope you all have a wonderful day and happy weekend, and speak to you soon. Bye, speak to you soon.